Welcome back. This time we have a dive at Les Davis Marine Park at a depth of about 8.5 meters at 7 in the morning. Visibility was about 10 to 15 feet. Testing up my macro lens for the camera after my experiment with the new camera at Sunnyside Beach Park. I decided it prudent to get a macro lens as soon as possible because a lot of the sea life around here is small. And you gotta get close to them. And unfortunately the camera can't handle focal lengths that short without an accessory. But here we've got a big red rock crab. Citharichthys. He's got a decorative little piece of red algae on his antennae and a barnacle growing on his left mandible. Unfortunate for him, and actually kind of ironic considering that they eat barnacles. Here is a roxel, Lepidopsetta bilineata. Handsome fellow. Tried to get nice and close with the macro lens, but unfortunately he proved to be just as shy as the roxels at Sunnyside. That species of sculpin, hold on. This is a penpoint gunnel. Very well camouflaged with that bright green, and you wouldn't even have known he was there if he hadn't been moving so much. Unfortunately, he decided to retreat underneath the kelp bed, but I noticed to the left a crescent gunnel. Yes, here he is. You can see him right there, his little head peeking out. Just a curious little guy, wondering what's going on. Here is one of those sculpins. I do not know the species. This one was not all that frightened though. Here's a different crescent gunnel hanging out. He seemed to be very patient with me, which is wonderful. A lot of the sea life will scatter. At least a lot of the vertebrates will scatter at the sight of you. Invertebrates not so much. Invertebrates tend to be highly immobile or slow or just, you know, ballsy, confident. So when a vertebrate lets you get close to it like this, it's really a treasure. But you gotta know when to quit. And if they start running away from you, you should probably leave them alone, out of respect. This is a comb jelly of some kind. There we go, back into focus. You can see that it has a shimmer to whatever that is on its body. And you can see one of its tentacles darting upwards towards the main body after presumably it caught some piece of food, maybe some detritus. This is an adult roxel. He was actually quite patient with me. He let me get real close. Unfortunately, all the photos I took were out of focus. He was just that big that I needed to take off the macro lens in order to take better photos and videos at the distance he was allowing me to get to him, which was closer than any of the roxels at Sunnyside. These are just beautiful animals, at least to me. The way they move, just everything about them is amusing and fascinating. Here we have an actual Dungeness crab, Metacarcinus magister. I've seen a lot of crabs in the past, and I've called them dungies. And they weren't dungies, they were graceful crabs, but this one is real, and you can tell because it has some purple, but its legs are a honey-colored kind of gold. Graceful crabs have bright purple legs. These guys do not, and they're much larger. She was very patient with me as well. She was clearly on her way somewhere, but she wasn't going to let me throw her off course. She's missing the tip off of her left claw. Must have gotten in a fight with someone. Can't imagine who would fight with her. She's just so lovely. Dungeness crabs are a commercially important species, which means they're heavily fished, despite us not knowing much about their life history. It's unfortunate, because these crabs get quite large, and large animals are very hard to come by these days, mainly because of fishing. If you go into the sea, you'll find mostly small things. A lot of the large stuff gets taken up. It's unfortunate, but people gotta eat, I guess. She went into an eelgrass bed here, so I decided to move on. This is a speckled sand dab. Citharichthys. Something, This is, there's the same Dungeness crab again, but behind her is a speckled sand dab. I decided to get close to. That's another rock sole and some more speckled sand dabs. All quite shy. This is weird, because the speckled sand dabs, I mean, this one's real still for me right now, but a lot of them were skittish, and at Sunnyside the sand dabs were actually attracted to me. Wish I could say the same about people. This is a flatfish right here. It took me, every time I see this clip I forget what it is, but as you can see, flatfish are really just expert camouflagers. You probably wouldn't even see it until I got that close, but not me. I'm really good at spotting them. Here's a graceful crab, squaring off, doing a little pose. I left him alone after that. Don't want to mess with him. Don't want to tussle with the mussel on that one. I was too busy chatting away, but there was an unidentified nudibranch back there. Sea slug, if you will. And here's that same comb jelly. This is an English sole, Parophrys vetulus. You don't see these above the sand very often at all, but there he is, half covered, and being remarkably still for being clearly spotted by me. And there's the big guy who was my star model this entire trip. I miss him already. Some more flatfish. This jellyfish species, this cnidarian, is pretty common this time of year, but I don't know what its name is. It's not a moon jelly. It's something very similar, though. It's on the tip of my tongue. Very pretty. Invertebrates are very nice photographic subjects because they tend to just sit there, you know? Not very mobile. Here's another jellyfish. Reminds me of a lion's mane, but it's not a lion's mane. Couldn't tell you what the species is. Maybe a jellyfish enthusiast will hop in the comments and let us all know. Or I could if I bothered. Only interested in the flatfish and the crabs. These are a schooling fish called striped surf perch, or striped sea perch, or striped perch, whatever. Hate common names. They are very colorful and very beautiful. Unfortunately, they're also very fast and elusive. They won't necessarily get out of your way, like way out of your way, but they will keep their distance, which makes using the macro lens to get all those details in not possible. I followed this one at great speed during my safety stop, but then I had to let it go for a cinematic ending. See you next time.